Yeah, that they agreed on. As Daniel passed by the big rig, he saw someone in the passenger seat smiling wildly while pointing a gun at him. The pickup stopped by the big rig, and two men got out. Instead of getting into the cab, they all got onto the catwalk. Without a second thought, they had left the pickup right in the middle of Highway 6 with no lights on, creating quite a hazard. Smoke shot out of the rig as it started moving. I sure hope that truck has a load that isn't deadheading, said Shaky Daniel to himself. Daniel floored pedal to the metal again. No longer did he fear getting pulled over by a cop. As a matter of fact, he now welcomed such an outcome, hoping that the cop pulling him over would help him fight off his would-be killers. Daniel felt a bit relieved to know that there didn't seem to be any curbs coming up, especially since he might actually be hauling over. Yeah, Daniel felt a bit relieved to know. Okay, yeah. Daniel felt a bit relieved to know that there didn't seem to be any curves coming up, especially since he might actually be hauling over 100 miles per hour soon. But although he was now pushing 80, the truck behind him was gaining. When Daniel turned on the CB to see if he could get any help from possible cops in the area, he heard Allahu Akbar blasting over the speakers. He realized that he and the Muslims trying to kill him were the only ones in the area. Daniel picked up a CB and asked, while trying to remain calm, What's it say about a religion? Oh yeah. What's it say about a religion will have you killed if you question it? Allahu Akbar was the only reply heard over the CB again. Prepare for a lot of trailer slap, Daniel shouted over the CB as the truck closed in on him. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, thundered again. The truck was actually trying to pass Daniel, but Daniel swung to the left and hit the back of the trailer. The truck was actually trying to pass Daniel. Yeah. But Daniel swung to the left and hit the back of his trailer, and hit it with the back of his trailer. Allah! Screamed the Muslims on the CB when the engine of their truck was hit, sending their Volvo truck in the direction of an open field. The Muslim at the wheel quickly corrected, almost causing the empty trailer behind it to tip over. Don't pass him, brother! Ram him! Shouted a voice over Daniel's CB. Daniel got ready for a lot of fast wheel correction. Thank you for letting me know your plan, Daniel laughed nervously over the CB. The Volvo took on speed and rammed the back of Daniel's trailer. Daniel almost screamed when he felt as though his truck was going to jackknife. Daniel suddenly got an idea when he noticed that the snow was starting to stick on the road. I sure hope the kingpin doesn't snap off this. I sure hope the kingpin doesn't snap off with this. Oh, yeah. I sure hope the kingpin doesn't snap off with this, he told himself. Knowing that the speed he was at was deadly if it were to jackknife from another strike, he decided to apply the brakes, but waited for the Volvo to try to ram him again. Get ready for fancy wheel correction, Daniel told himself. The Volvo took on speed again with another ram. Another cry of Allahu Akbar was heard over the CD in Daniel's cab. Now, Daniel shouted with fury, and he not only slammed on the brake pedal, but he did the unthinkable, yanking out not only the red knob to the trailer brakes, but the yellow knob to the tractor brakes as well, causing his big rig to stop suddenly. The Volvo blasted into the back of Daniel's trailer, as if hitting a giant block of steel, shattering the whole fiberglass covering on the engine, and nearly jackknifing both trucks. So intense was the collision that the Volvo's radiator crumpled, sending out a mass of blinding steam that frightened the driver. Daniel's entire cab shook violently as he was thrown forward toward the windshield, then blasted back into his seat when the truck behind him struck. Two Muslims found themselves on the hot Volvo engine after being flung through the windshield of the pursuing rig. They were dazed and cut, but didn't seem to care how hot the engine was, for they grabbed at anything on the engine, trying to keep from slipping off the hood and being crushed under the wheels of the still-moving rig. At the same time, both drivers were now fighting to keep control after nearly jackknifing together. The only thing that kept Daniel's truck from stopping was the snow building up on the road. With that, the truck carrying the Muslims screeched to a halt. Daniel mashed down both red and yellow knobs to the air brakes and prayed that his transmission was still intact. He had heard stories of completely ruined transmissions after doing something like that on even lower speeds. Never had he even dared entertain doing something like that, especially at the speed he was traveling. Surprisingly, the wheels of the rig began to move again. His transmission seemed fine. As Daniel got his rig up in higher gears, he did notice that the transmission no longer hummed like it did before, but it was still doing its job. Daniel heard the sound of gunshots in the background. Back in the truck, under control of the Muslims, the driver of the wheel said to his fellows as they got back into the cab, "I don't know about you, brothers, but we shouldn't have let him pass. There is no way we can get at him now." The young-looking Muslim who mimed throat-cutting and gunshots at Daniel said, "He will have to shut down soon, but Brother Omar ahead has Plan B if he fails at getting that device from him. I say we find a place to ditch this truck and wait for the van to pick us up." The young-looking Muslim looked about, then asked, "No one has taken off their gloves, right?" As the Muslims in the truck agreed, all the Muslims in the truck agreed. "I'm bleeding," said the Muslim who had tried to jump onto the catwalk. "Look for blood. We can't leave any DNA evidence in here as well," said the young-looking Muslim. Back in Daniel's truck, Daniel noticed more tail lights coming into view. It was the van that had passed him earlier at a high rate of speed. Now it was traveling at 50 miles per hour. Daniel didn't know for sure if it was more Muslims or a driver being cautious due to the continuous buildup of snow. Daniel signaled and was about to pass it, but the van pulled over into the lane to keep him from passing and started applying its brakes. "Oh, no, you don't," Oh, no, you don't. Yeah. Applying its brakes. Oh, no, you don't, shouted Daniel, anger replacing fear. Not this time, you don't. Daniel rammed the back of the van, spinning it off of the road. Take that, you Allah who Egberts. There, I said it. I said it, and I meant it. You Allah who Egbert. And you Aloha snack bars, you. And Daniel started laughing. Suddenly, the van was parallel to Daniel, and a machine gun was seen pointed at Daniel's window. No, shouted Daniel, ducking to the side while quickly swinging his wheel to the left and right. So fast did Daniel turn the wheel, that his trailer would have tipped over if the van hadn't been there to inadvertently stop it. Instead of tipping over, Daniel's trailer struck the top of the van, shattering the glass out. On the passenger's side, almost caving in the roof. Yes, Daniel shouted wildly when he saw the van spinning around again, now facing the opposite direction. But Daniel was shocked to see it coming at him again, with the machine gun still sticking out of the side window. Daniel remembered that his 357 was on the floor by his feet. He picked it up, hit the button to automatically roll down the window, and flinched his driver's side mirror. Oh, and flinched as his driver's side mirror disintegrated as machine gun bullets struck it. With that, Daniel quickly reached out behind him and left his hand. With that, Daniel quickly reached out behind him with his left hand and started pressing the trigger while pressing the gun against the outer wall of his truck. The Magnum was pressed out upside down against the outside of Daniel's truck in an effort to keep from getting hit with machine gun bullets. The bullets being launched from the chamber were so loud that after the third shot, Daniel's left ear was ringing. After the final shot, the van screeched to a halt. The Muslim at the wheel turned to the other, holding the machine gun, and said with a shocked look in his eyes, "He's got guns, brother! He's got guns! He's going against our president's executive order banning handguns!" And the remaining brake lights on Daniel's trailer disappeared into the distance with the somewhat relieved Daniel at the wheel. End of Allahu Akbar. And this next story was called The Flash Drive, which I'll read later.